Welcome alla. Welcome everybody to a rainy Trollhättan, but it is still, I think, a great day, not at least for Saab. Thanks for all joining us, wherever you come from, to be witnessing the start of the production. Actually, this morning, exactly 10 o'clock, the line was rolling again, and a beautiful Saab 9.5 sedan Aero rolled off the band. We'll have a few speakers for you today. Let me first introduce our honorable guest from China, Mr. Pang Qing Hua, the chairman and CEO of the PD Group. Mr. Li Jingyong, Vice General Manager of the PD Group. And Mr. Ami Yu, Vice General Manager of the PD Group. And of course, no introduction, but you know him all, Mr. Victor Muller, the chairman of Saab Automobile and currently also the CEO of Saab Automobile. And another person that has been very busy, just like Victor, is Gunnar Brunius, who is responsible for production and for purchasing. All a fantastic job done. We'll tell you more about it. After this session, after Gunnar Brunius will close the session, we don't do an open Q&A. We'll have the opportunity for you to ask any questions to Victor Muller and to Gunnar Brunius. We will be here. We also have an area for you where you can take pictures outside. Please respect the lines there. You can't just go everywhere. We hope that you understand that we have to be able to catch up. There's about 6,500 people waiting now for their Saabs, only for this factory in Trollhättan. So we have a lot of work to do. With that, I would like to leave over the word to Victor Muller.
Thank you, Aaron. This is quite a significant day for Saab. We've seen quite a rough patch in the past 6 weeks, more or less 8 weeks actually, including the initial stoppages. We knew that we would be low on cash at the end of the first quarter, but nothing prepared us for the storm that set off when one supplier basically decided not to open the truck. A production stoppage was a cost of 2 hours, and next thing you know, the next morning we had 92 suppliers with demands. Fortunately for us, and fortunately for our suppliers and our customers and our dealers, we've managed to put this very unpleasant period behind us. Is this final? We don't know, because we still have a lot of regulatory approvals that need to be obtained for Part2 to become a shareholder in Saab, or actually in Spiker, Swedish Automobile, as it will be called as from the day that the Articles of Association will be changed. But it's been an interesting lesson that a company like Saab, which lives basically in a glass house, should never be caught in a situation where there is not enough cash to withstand the storm as we have seen right now. What happened, as seemed like a very insignificant situation, became a very significant situation. And next thing you know, you're losing 6 weeks of production. Fortunately for us, we've had tremendous support from our suppliers. And because of that, within a matter of days following the arrival of the first 30 million euros from Part2, we managed to make deals with all of them to the point that we could start planning for production resumption. And that's what's happening today. And I'm extraordinarily grateful to Gunnar Brunius and the entire team, but basically to the entire Saab management for managing this process in the way they did. It was very, very tough. And we've had some very adverse circumstances that we had to live with. But we got out of it. I think that if you've gone through 2009, 2010, as Saab has been, anything else is relatively easy. We will definitely ensure that this will not happen again. This means that we will be on a quest to assure that we will have sufficient funds at all times to overcome adversities like this, because we can't afford to have another production stoppage with all the relating downsides, such as disappointed customers, upset suppliers, and the media attention that definitely is not in our interest. One of the most remarkable things, I would say, of the past few weeks has been that order intake simply continued. You would expect order intake, particularly with the coverage that we've seen, which was so devastating that nobody would ever think that we would resume production again, order intake would stop. Not at all. During the past 8 weeks, we've seen order intake continue at 40% of the levels we had prior to this situation. That is very remarkable. And as a consequence, we are currently looking at a very high, for our standards, very high order bank of 6,500 cars for the Trollhättan plant and some 1,600 cars for the 94X in Mexico. Actually, that car is sold out for the model year 11, and very soon we'll start production for model year 12. Those cars will also come to Europe, and more interestingly, actually, they will be the cars that will be going to China as from the end of this year, when homologation of the 94X will have been ended there. The good news is that we have had a lot of new product launches. We launched the 94X 2 weeks ago in Washington, and the reviews have been unusually positive, very, very, very positive, and many have quoted the Saab 94X as the best Saab ever made, which is a big compliment. Also, you will see on the production line, when it starts to run after the lunch break, you'll see that we're started the production of the 95 Sport Combi, a car which is very important for us, because about 80% of the Nordic market for the 95 is Sport Combis, and we haven't seen any Sport Combis come off this line in the 95 since January 2010, when this car, the old 95, went out of production. In order to make the transaction with Pangar come to fruition, to actually consummate the transaction, as I said, we need to go through a lot of regulatory approvals. Yesterday we were very fortunate to meet with the Chinese ambassador, with the Minister of Enterprise, Maud Olofsson, with NDO, Dangebar. So it was a very good day in Stockholm yesterday, with good meetings, very constructive dialogue, and everybody is geared towards a speedy finalization of the process that is required to allow Pangar to take the stake in Saab. But it doesn't mean that the actions that we're taking with Pangar at this time are waiting. On the contrary, working groups are being put together very rapidly so as to ensure that the importation of Saabs in China can start as soon as practically possible. We are looking at shipping the first Saabs from the Trollhättan factory to China by August of this year, and so they should be arriving by September, which coincides with the certification of the 93 and 95 in China. So we also saw this week an interesting visit of my friend Vladimir Antonov with Maud Olofsson in Stockholm. That meeting went, I was told firsthand, very, very well. So we're very hopeful that soon the recommendation by NDO to the Swedish government to approve Vladimir Antonov as a shareholder of Saab will in fact be effective, allowing us to have access to his commitment to the company, which is beyond anyone's imagination. So I'm very honored to introduce to you our new partner, Pangar, Mr. Pan. He will be speaking to you in a second. I would like to make a little remark about that. We have been acting in China basically since September of last year. We put together a working group that started to make an inventory of what it is that we would need to enter China successfully. In the past, Saab was represented by Shanghai GM, and there were like 18 dealers, which is basically neglectable on a country selling 18 million cars. And we felt that we had to make our own statement in China, and I think that any car maker without a China strategy is basically doomed. So we set out and started to make an inventory of the partners with whom we could cooperate, and there were many. There were actually too many to even consider. When the situation in the end of beginning of April became very pressing, we put even more effort in our search for strong partners in China. And inasmuch as we had anticipated that to happen very quickly, we would have never thought that we would find a partner as well embedded in the Chinese market as Pengda in such a short time. It's no secret that I met Mr. Pan 2 weeks ago to the day at 7 p.m. for dinner in Beijing. And the Monday morning following at 5 a.m. we signed a 110 million euro contract. In the past, people would say only in America. Things like that could only happen in America. Today, I would say only in China can you achieve that type of transactions in such short time, because the entrepreneurs that China has brought forward in the past decade, the past 2 decades perhaps, are of a savviness and a power that we haven't seen in Europe for a very long time, and not even in America. And we're very fortunate that we found the #1 distributor of motor cars in China to become our partner. No less than 470,000 cars were sold by them last year. It's about twice the number of cars sold in Sweden, just by Pengda. And it's therefore with great pride that I would like to give the floor to Mr. Pan, the CEO of and chairman of Pengda, and the founder of that remarkable company. Mr. Pan, please.